जय शुभ मंगलदायका विद्या बुद्धि प्रदायका
जय शुभ मंगलदायका विद्या बुद्धि प्रदायका
गजवदना गौरी नंदन
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 गंगाधर शिव शंभो नंदन
गंगाधर शिव शंभो नंदन
गंगाधर शिव शंभो नंदन
गंगाधर शिव शंभो नंदन
जय 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 गणनायका जय जय विघ्न विनाशका
जय 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 गणनायका जय जय विघ्न विनाशका
बुद्धि प्रदायका
जय शुभ मंगलदायका विद्या बुद्धि प्रदायका
गजवदना गौरी नंदन
गजवदना गौरी नंदन
गजवदना गौरी नंदन
गजवदना गौरी नंदन
गंगाधर शिव शंभो नंदन
गंगाधर शिव शंभो नंदन
गंगाधर शिव शंभो नंदन
गंगाधर शिव शंभो नंदन
जय 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 गणनायका जय जय विघ्न विनाशका
अखंड ज्योति जलाओ साई मन मंदिर में
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 अखंड ज्योति जलाओ
अखंड ज्योति जलाओ
अखंड ज्योति जलाओ
अखंड ज्योति जलाओ
कोटि सूर्य सम तेज स्वरूप
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 साई तुम हो दिव्य 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 स्वरूप
अखंड ज्योति जलाओ
अखंड ज्योति जलाओ
अखंड ज्योति जलाओ
अखंड ज्योति जलाओ ज्योति जलाओ साई मन मंदिर में।
अखंड ज्योति जलाओ,
अखंड ज्योति जलाओ,
अखंड ज्योति जलाओ,
अखंड ज्योति जलाओ।
कोटि सूर्य सम तेज स्वरूपा,
कोटि सूर्य सम तेज स्वरूपा,
साई तुम हो दिव्य स्वरूपा,
साई तुम हो दिव्य स्वरूपा।
अखंड ज्योति जलाओ,
अखंड ज्योति जलाओ,
अखंड ज्योति जलाओ,
अखंड ज्योति जलाओ।
दिव्य ज्योति ज्ञान ज्योति प्रेम ज्योति जलाओ,
दिव्य ज्योति ज्ञान ज्योति प्रेम ज्योति जलाओ।
अखंड ज्योति जलाओ,
अखंड ज्योति जलाओ,
अखंड ज्योति जलाओ,
अखंड ज्योति जलाओ।
अखंड ज्योति जलाओ।
Why fear when I am here?
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 So says Baba, Satya Sai Baba, Satya Sai Baba, my Lord.
So says Baba, Satya Sai Baba, Satya Sai Baba, my Lord.
All I want is your love, my child. All I want is your faith.
All I want is your love, my child. All I want is your faith.
All I want is your love in God, no matter what's your faith.
All I want is your love in God, no matter what your faith.
So says Baba, Satya Sai Baba, Satya Sai Baba, my Lord. Krishna, Buddha, Jesus, Allah, all came through this land.
Krishna, Buddha, Jesus, Allah, all came through this land.
All of them brought the message of love, love your fellow man.
All of them brought the message of love, love your fellow man.
So says Baba, Satya Sai Baba, Satya Sai Baba, my Lord. The light you see in the dark of night is that of God in man.
The light you see in the dark of night is that of God in man.
Find the light that is in your heart and reach the promised land.
Find the light that is in your heart and reach the promised land.
So says Baba, Satya Sai Baba, Satya Sai Baba, my Lord. So says Baba, Satya Sai Baba, Satya Sai Baba, my Lord. Why fear when I am here? So says Baba, Satya Sai Baba, Satya Sai Baba, my Lord. All I want is your love, my child.
अल्लाह बजो मौला बजो हे अल्लाह साई भगवान
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 साई राम बजो साई कृष्ण बजो हे राम कृष्ण भगवान
साई राम बजो साई कृष्ण बजो हे राम कृष्ण भगवान
साई राम बजो साई कृष्ण बजो हे राम कृष्ण भगवान
साई राम बजो साई कृष्ण बजो हे राम कृष्ण भगवान
नानक बजो गौतम बजो हे बुद्ध साई भगवान
नानक बजो गौतम भजो हे बुद्ध साई भगवान
नानक बजो गौतम बजो हे बुद्ध साई भगवान
नानक बजो गौतम भजो हे बुद्ध साई भगवान
यीशु बजो जोराष्ट्र बजो हे महावीर भगवान
यीशु बजो जोरास्त्र बजो हे महावीर भगवान
यीशु बजो जोराष्ट्र बजो हे महावीर भगवान
यीशु बजो जोरास्त्र बजो हे महावीर भगवान
साई बजो शिरडी साई बजो हे शिरडी साई भगवान
साई बजो शिरडी साई बजो हे शिरडी साई भगवान
साई बजो शिरडी साई बजो हे शिरडी साई भगवान
साई बजो शिरडी साई बजो हे शिरडी साई भगवान
सत्य बजो सत्य साई बजो हे सत्य साई भगवान
सत्य बजो सत्य साई बजो हे सत्य साई भगवान
सत्य बजो सत्य साई बजो हे सत्य साई भगवान
सत्य बजो सत्य साई बजो हे सत्य साई भगवान
अल्लाह बजो मौला बजो हे अल्लाह साई भगवान
अल्लाह बजो मौला बजो हे अल्लाह साई भगवान
साई राम बजो साई कृष्ण बजो हे राम कृष्ण भगवान
साई राम बजो साई कृष्ण बजो हे राम
नानक बजो गौतम बजो हे बुद्ध साई भगवान
नानक बजो गौतम बजो हे बुद्ध साई भगवान
यीशु बजो जोराष्ट्र बजो हे महावीर भगवान
यीशु बजो जोरास्त्र बजो हे महावीर भगवान
साई बजो शिरडी साई बजो हे भगवान साईनाथ भगवान साईनाथ भगवान साईनाथ सत्यं शिवं सुन्दरं साईनाथ सत्यं शिवं सुन्दरं साईनाथ साईनाथ भगवान साईनाथ बुद्धं शरणं गच्छामि धम्मं शरणं गच्छामि बुद्धं शरणं गच्छामि धम्मं शरणं गच्छामि संगं शरणं गच्छामि सत्य साई शरणं गच्छामि सत्य साई शरणं गच्छामि साईनाथ भगवान साईनाथ सत्यं शिवं सुन्दरं साईनाथ साईनाथ भगवान साईनाथ बुद्धं शरणं गच्छामि धम्मं शरणं गच्छामि संगं शरणं गच्छामि सत्य साई शरणं गच्छामि सत्य साई शरणं गच्छामि बुद्धं शरणं गच्छामि धम्मं शरणं गच्छामि संगं शरणं गच्छामि सत्य साई शरणं गच्छामि सत्य साई शरणं गच्छामि साईनाथ भगवान साईनाथ भगवान
my most humble thanks and gratitude to our divine Lord and Master who is omnipresent, most respected guests, Sri Narasimhamurti, Chancellor for the Sri Sathya Sai University for Human Excellence, Ajahn Brahm, founding father of the Australian forest tradition of Buddhist monasticism, and Sri Madhusudan, who is blessed to hear, see and experience Swami all the time. It is through this instrumentation that many, many projects providing free education, healthcare, nutrition and social projects have now been initiated in over 30 countries. We extend our most heartfelt welcome to Swami's entourage and to his students who have accompanied him here from India. We acknowledge the presence of Mr. Gary Seaton, Chairman for the Heart of Love Foundation, and board members for the Heart of Love Foundation. A very warm welcome to you as well. We would now like to humbly offer our music program to begin this evening.
Swami, we offer our most humble and loving salutations, the divine lotus feet of our Master, who is seated here with us today. Swami, thank you for granting us your permission to commence the musical program. Swami, we are all travelers in this journey of life, seeking to understand the spiritual truth, to rediscover our true nature, the enlightened self. We would like to begin this evening's program by paying homage to the Blessed, Noble, and Perfectly Enlightened One, and to all awakened masters to ask for their guidance in the way. May our minds awake to great compassion, wisdom, and to bliss, and may we all attain perfect enlightenment real soon.
Having listened to the chants offered to the enlightened ones, one may wonder, what is the state of the Arahata? What does an enlightened being really feel? The following song that we offer at the Divine Lotus feet is the Sanskrit poem Nirvana Shatakam, or the 6 verses on Nirvana, or liberation. It is said that over 1,500 years ago, the great Indian saint, Sri Adi Shankaracharya, as a young boy of 8 years of age, was asked by his spiritual master the oft-repeated question, "So, who are you?" Spontaneously, the 8-year-old lad's lips gave way to this magnificent poem, which to this day aids spiritual seekers in answering the crucial question, who am I? Swami, you have asked all of us to learn this poem, to internalize its meaning, and to live by its teaching. Here we offer you this composition with deep gratitude for having shown us a way to meditate on our true essence and to realize our divine nature. Sai Ram. I am not the petty mind, I am not the proud intellect, neither the mighty ego, nor the minute thought am I. Touch and hearing, taste and seeing, I am not the sensual feelings, I am not the element of earth, I am not the elusive ether, neither the fierce fire, nor the wailing wind am I. I am truth, consciousness, divine bliss. I am the Shiva am I. I am the Shiva am I. I am not the vigorous breath, I am not the vital airs, neither the ailing elements, nor the astral sheets am I. Organs of action and chain reaction, hands, feet, and mouth in conversation, none of these depraved organs am I. I am truth, consciousness, divine bliss. I am the Shiva am I. I am the Shiva am I. न च प्राणसंज्ञो न वै पञ्चवायु न वा सप्तधातुर्न वा पञ्चकोशः न वाक्पाणिपादौ न चोपस्थपायु I am bound to no worldly attachment. I am averse to no earthly entrapment. Greed, envy, vanity, aversion, these phantoms bind me not to any delusion. I aspire not for duty, nor to acquire property, nor even cherish the desire for eternal liberty. For I am truth, consciousness, divine bliss. I am the Shiva am I. I am the Shiva am I. Unaffected by virtue, untouched by vice, I feel no pleasure, I face no pain. No magic chants empower me, no mystic places purify me. I am not the dogma, nor the doctrine, nor even the sacred fire of the pilgrims. I am not the sensuous, I am not the sense. Sensuality to me makes no sense. For I am truth, consciousness, divine bliss. I am the Shiva am I. I am the Shiva am I.
Na punyam na papam na saukyam na dukham na mantro na tirtham na veda na yagya aham bhojanam naiva bhojam na bhokta chidananda rupa shivoham shivoham chidananda rupa shivoham shivoham.
Frivolous doubts assail me never. Fear of death banished forever. No pride of caste, no prejudice of creeds, no father or mother bore me by their deeds. I am no friend, I am no foe, neither the teacher nor the taught am I. For I am truth, consciousness, divine bliss. I am the Shiva am I. I am the Shiva am I.
Name mrityu shanka, name jati bheda, pita naiva me naiva mata na janma, na bandhur na mitram, guru naiva shishya, chidananda rupa shivoham shivoham chidananda rupa shivoham shivoham.
I am omnipresent, I am formless, ever unchanging. I am beyond both bondage and liberation. I am truth, consciousness. I am divine bliss. I am the Shiva am I. I am the Shiva am I. Aham nirvikalpo nirakara rupa vibhurvyapya sarvatra sarvendriyanam sada me samatvam namuktirna bandha Chidanandarupa Shivoham Shivoham Chidanandarupa Shivoham Shivoham Chidanandarupa Shivoham Shivoham.
Swami, as we empty our minds and feel the pure joy and love that is within our hearts, we offer to the Divine this beautiful lyrical poem, You Raise Me Up, which expresses our deep longing for you and realizes the strength that flows from faith and eternal devotion. You raise us up to all that we can be.
Beloved Lord, my soul always longs for you. When troubles come and my heart burden be, then I am still and waiting
Most beloved Swami, how can we ever express our gratitude and love to you, who has shown us and continues to show us our true nature? That is none other than divine love itself. Is it even possible to quantify at all the love that we have for you? How can we ever express this intimate bond of love that is between you and all of us? Dearest Swami, there is no one greater than you in all of our lives. There is no other objective in our lives than to gain your love, be in your presence, and make you happy. There is absolutely nothing that we desire than to just be one with you always. Today, as we stand here or sit here, the last day of your divine tour of Australia, where yet again with aching hearts we part from you, our eyes well up with tears of separation. Echoing this sentiment of all our hearts, we offer this song, Humko Tumse Pyar Kitna. You alone know, Swami, how much we love you. You alone and you only know. हमको तुमसे प्यार कितना,
हमको तुमसे प्यार कितना,
साईं तुम ही जानते,
साईं तुम ही जानते,
दिलों की धड़कन तुम हो साईं, तुम हमारे प्राण हो,
तुम हमारे प्राण हो,
हमको तुमसे प्यार है, we love you, dear Sai, we love you, we love you, dear Sai, we love you. నీవు లేని మా జీవనం,
నీవు లేని మా జీవనం,
నీరు లేని చేప వేదనం,
నీరు లేని చేప వేదనం,
నీ సన్నిధే మాకు పెన్నిధి,
నీ సన్నిధే మాకు పెన్నిధి,
నీరు చూపే ప్రాణ సమానం,
నీకు చూపే ప్రాణ సమానం,
నీకు మాకు ఒకే బంధము,
నీకు మాకు ఒకే బంధము,
అదియే प्रेम बंधो, हमको तुमसे प्यार कितना, साईं तुम ही जानते, दिलों की धड़कन
Dearest I, we love you. Dearest I, we love you. We love you. Dearest I, we love you. We love you. Dearest I, we love you. We love you. Dearest I, we love you.
We are delighted to now introduce our next speaker, Mr. Arjun Brahm. Originally hailing from the United Kingdom, he initially earned a degree in theoretical physics from Cambridge University. He then became a monk in 1974 in the forest tradition of northeast Thailand under the highly esteemed meditation master Ajahn Chah. Today, he is the abbot of the largest Buddhist monastery in the Southern Hemisphere and a revered spiritual teacher and guide. He has authored many books and his public teachings regularly attract thousands. May we please welcome Mr. Arjun Brahm to speak to us this evening.
Okay, excellent. So thank you for inviting me to speak today, and it won't be long. It's very wonderful to be here, and it reminded me of recently I applied for a Commonwealth Citizens Seniors card. I am getting old. But the problem was that when I rang, I tried to do it online, but the person at the end of the line said, "I'm sorry, sir, but you have to come in to prove who you are." And when I went in to the Centrelink office and they asked me, just can you prove who you are? And I said, for 44 years I've been trying to find the answer to that question. How do you expect me to answer now? But however, I managed to find some means because they did ask for identification. And it's wonderful, like being a spiritual person, you don't have much to identify you. They asked for my credit card, which I don't have. My bank account, I'm sorry. My rental agreement or my property. They asked for many things. You know, they even asked me for my marriage license. I said, I've been a monk. And then they said, well, you don't exist. And I said, I always suspected that. So I found out from just an ordinary place in life, just a government office, that I'm a nobody. But it reminded me of a saying which I've seen on many T-shirts. that nobody is perfect. So if I'm a nobody, then I must be perfect. Because what is perfection anyway? That sometimes we look at life and we have some very strange ideas of what perfection is. The perfect person, the perfect life, the perfect... But every time you look for something which is perfect, you always tend to find something unexpected. For example, I was telling somebody as we came in here that, when things always go wrong. Do they always go wrong though? Because what happened is that one day I was walking to an event, and not being as mindful as I maybe should have been, I trod in a lump of stinking dog poo. And it went all over my shoes. And so what I did, I asked, what did I do with that? I said, the people said, you must scrape it off. I said, no, you don't scrape off dog poo when you find some, when you're lucky enough to get some dog poo in your life. I said, you take it home with you. And you take it home and you scrape it off under a mango tree. Because I love mangoes, especially ones which have grown sweet and juicy because they've been fertilized with the dog poo of life. It's great fertilizer. And so whenever something goes wrong in my life, as in your life, it's not going wrong. It's more dog poo from my mango tree. But I always must remember, whenever I bite into a mango, I always remember what I'm biting into. It is dog poo, but it's transformed into delicious, sweet and juicy mango. To me, that is our perfection. It's just how we learn to embrace the strange things which happen to us in life, the unexpected. We embrace, which to me is one of the great meanings of love. So, and I got that from an unexpected place, from my father, who was very poor, who when I was only about 12, 13 years of age, he took me aside, and he had a very old car, second-hand, not worth very much, but it just about went. And he took me aside and said he wanted to tell me something important. And that was that whatever I did in my life, wherever I went, however I turned out, the door of his house would always be open to me. At the time, it didn't mean very much, because his house was a government-assisted small apartment. We didn't have very much there at all. He was legitimately poor. And we would never lock the door of our house or our apartment, called a flat. We never locked it. And I asked my father, why not? He said, because I'm hoping that one day a burglar might come in, take pity on us and leave us something. And shortly afterwards he died. It was almost like maybe premonition or something. He needed to give his son an inheritance, but not with money, with something much more valuable. And years and years and years later, when I became a monk, when I had a time to actually to contemplate some of these events of my life, like those words of my father, I did realize it was not his house that he was talking about. He meant the door of his heart. And that whatever I did in my life, my life, however I turned out, that he would never shut the door of his heart against me. I was always welcome, no matter what. And to me that became a wonderful start where I could find some of the meaning of what love is about. To be able to open the door of your heart to the person sitting next to you, behind you, the person who you lost many, many years ago, to welcome life in and to love it unconditionally, no matter what. And of course, that ability to open the door of your heart to the person you see on the street, or to the people you meet in prisons, to the people who've done so-called terrible things in life. I always mention to them that they haven't done, they're not a murderer. In all the times I've been visiting prisons. But I must say one thing first of all. The first time I went into a prison to teach them meditation, I never realised in Australian jails how spiritual the prisoners are. At least that's what I thought when about 100 prisoners crammed into the room to learn meditation. There were only about 105 prisoners in that jail. It was in Bunbury jail. And I thought, wow, I totally underestimated the spiritual yearning of people who've done terrible crimes. But my inspiration only lasted for a few minutes when a very big prisoner stood up. He became a good friend afterwards. He's one of the leaders of one of the big gangs in the jail. And he said, "Can I ask a question? When anyone that big and strong says, can I ask I will say, yes, sir, please, whatever." And his question was, is it really true? Is it really so that through meditation you can learn how to fly over walls? And then I realised why they all came to learn meditation. To escape. But I continued in those. The next time I went, only 3 people turned up. But nevertheless, I enjoyed going there just to see that I've never seen a criminal in any of those jails. I've never seen a murderer, a thief, a rapist, a terrorist. I've never seen any of those. Instead, you've seen people. People who've done bad things, but they're not bad people. It made it very easy to open the door of your heart, to see in those people something which they forgot to see in themselves. The green of their prison uniform, which they wear in Australia. The bars on the room they go to sleep in at night time. Everything about them reminds them of a small part of their life. And there's other parts of their life which is far greater. In life, you can water the weeds, or you can water the flowers. When you open the door of your heart to somebody, even people you may be afraid of, they will always, always be kind back to you. What you see in other people is what they'll show you back. And of course, in other words, that love works. It does unite people. It does make people who... One prison I went to, they had just had a new security system because many of the prisoners were in there for such a long time that they had nothing to lose by assaulting, by raping the men visitors like me. So the guards gave a little pen and said, "Please put this pen in your pocket, and if you ever get assaulted, just pointed at one of what looked like fire extinguishers on the roof, fire alarms. They're not fire alarms, they're security alarms. You point it, press the top, we'll come and rescue you." And they said, "Put it in your pocket." And I said, "Look at me, I don't have pockets. I'm a monk. Put it somewhere." So when I went into my class, the very same person who I met those years ago, who told me that, can you levitate by meditating? The same person came up to me and said, you have one of those security alarms as well. They're supposed to be secret, but everyone knows about them. He said, looking at me in the eye, do you think you could reach for that before I jumped you and raped you? And I looked at him and said, no. He said, exactly, I'm way too fast for someone like you. But he said, if anyone, don't be afraid, he said, if anyone tried that on you, we, my friends and I, would stop them. Because you've shown us respect and love, we love you back. You're safe. To me, that was a wonderful feeling of just how you can go anywhere in this world, and if you have kindness and love in your heart, you will always be looked after and be safe. But there comes a time when you look at yourself. I don't know what you do in your life. Sometimes we do aspire to be great, fine, wonderful people, but we do make mistakes. And when you do make mistakes, you know that is something beautiful. Don't aspire to be perfect. To aspire to open the door of your heart to yourself, so that you can be at peace with yourself, pretty much as you are. While we're all aspiring to be perfect, we get so tense what we're saying, we don't like ourselves as we are. Opening the door of your heart also goes to yourself. With all the silly things you do, all the bad jokes which I say. I only heard this from a Singaporean doctor a few days ago. He told me, he said, he was a very top doctor in Singapore, who told me, what is the last part of the body which stops, which dies when you pass away? This was my doctor. So I said, is it just the hearing or the brain? He said, no. The last part of your body which stops is the pupils of your eyes. They dilate. So I do apologise about that. But that's my true nature, to tell bad jokes. But it's open the door of your heart to yourself as well. You're imperfect. No one can be perfect. That's why you love others and you love yourself as you are. This beautiful idea of opening the door of your heart to yourself as to others. And if one can do that, you will also find one of the greatest acts of love you can ever do is to let someone go. When a death happens, why do we hold them back? Why would you like to hold your beloved Swami here? Acts of love is to let them go. You let them go. And the body goes, but something else remains. What remains is all the times, the experiences, the memories, the love which you have shared. As I was coming here today, I just, on the park, saw people playing soccer. And there was a father with his son. And that brought so many memories of my father. He wasn't perfect, but he showed me what love was. When I was 10 years of age, I got a place in the school soccer team. And I was so proud, playing for the school soccer team for the first time. Dad, could you come to the match? He said, sorry, but I'm working. He had to work on Saturday mornings. I was so disappointed. The following day, when I was playing, I heard someone's voice. And it sounded familiar. It was my father. He was coming to watch me. And I was so uplifted. He said, I thought you were working. Yes, son, he said. He said, I told my boss I had to go to the doctor for a series of injections every Saturday morning for the rest of... He was a liar. But I loved him for that. For me, it was his sacrifice. His love for his son was more important than the security of his job. And there's something about letting go for something which is more important. To let go so your Swami can share his teachings of love and satsang at other places. So we let him go with our blessing. Gratitude. I had huge gratitude to my teacher, Ajahn Chah. But he used to tell me, he said, you cannot show gratitude to me by thanking me. He said, the only way you can show gratitude is by you go on, wherever you end up in this world, said Ajahn Chah, and you be a good monk. Whatever I've taught you, you share with others. And when you've shared as much as I've shared with you, then you may say that you paid off your debt. So, for your Swami, only when you have put into practice the teachings which you have listened to, got into your heart, and then you share them with others, only then can the debt be paid off. So let the Swami go, and you go in debt, pay it off by helping hundreds, thousands, millions, billions, trillions of people in this world. May all beings be happy and well.
The Heart of Love Foundation Australia is a not-for-profit organisation whose philosophy of loving all and serving all is imbued into every facet of their humanitarian work. In particular, they focus on providing free educare, healthcare and socio-care. Every day they go into the Sai School up in Murwillumbah and provide breakfast to the children there before school. There has been wonderful feedback from the school principal there that since this program has begun, the behaviour of the children has settled significantly and their rates of expulsion and suspension have also dropped significantly. A subsidiary of the foundation is Health in Kind. This is a group comprised of multiple healthcare workers, doctors, nurses, social workers, dentists, who also provide free healthcare, particularly to disadvantaged populations who have difficulty accessing healthcare otherwise. They also help support the Toogoolawah School, based in Queensland, which is a school for boys from disadvantaged backgrounds who, for various reasons, have been unable to stay in mainstream education. Perhaps, though, its greatest contribution is the loving work provided by those carers is touching the hearts of those around them and gradually drawing in others from the community who are seeing that work and also wanting to be involved and experience the joy of service. Our next speaker this evening is an honorary member of the Heart of Love Foundation, Mrs. Frances Petro. We would humbly ask her to address us this evening.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me to speak, Swami. This is my first time doing this, so be patient with me. Since coming to Swami, I have never experienced so much love. The thing is, I've been a seeker from a young age. At the age of 18, I was born into a Greek family, and I started looking at Eastern religions. And my father sat me down one day and he said, "You do all this hocus pocus." He said, "But you're born Greek Orthodox and you will die Greek Orthodox. If you tell an 18-year-old that, what will they do? And they will pack their bags and run away." And so I've been running for a long time to find truth, to find love. I have some of my friends here. They know a little bit of my history of living in ashrams. And at the end of that, it was when I came to the Sai through Gary and met the Sai people, what was different for me? The love was the same. I had experienced love. The difference was that here were people, no matter what, who were happy to serve humanity. And I'd never seen that on such a grand scale. And that was what, even Gary is so busy, and he used to go to the nursing home. And I thought, oh, well, that's very interesting. Because even though I used to meditate and do all those things, it was like, what were we doing? We were having a nice time, we had lots of friends, but how were we benefiting humanity in any way? So those questions made me keep yearning and keep searching. And so it was very easy for me to understand that love without service will make you limp. It doesn't matter where you are, who you're meditating to, but to serve humanity is our greatest blessing. So Swami asked me to talk about love, and I would really love to take you on a journey, because I was a little bit of a hard nut to crack. But in 2015, I asked Swami, is it possible that I could go to the Raipur hospital? He said, yes, of course, you go and have a look. And so I went to the Raipur hospital, and I was so moved, I think I cried for an entire week, because I had never been anywhere on this earth where I had seen love in action to that degree. Some of these babies are like this big, and they're blue. And I thought, my God, how come people don't know about this? And so, when people say to me, do you believe Swami's there, this, that? My thing is, I have seen the greatest love story on earth, without doubt. It is not only the hospitals, it's the schools. When we were opening the Mumbai hospital, and everyone was saying to Swami, why are you moving so fast? We can't keep up with you, Swami. He said, you go and tell that mother whose baby is not breathing that I am moving too fast. When that baby cannot take its breath, and as a mother you are watching that, how do you feel? The other wonderful thing about Swami is, it's not like he says, go and build a heart hospital. Srinivas had to go back, but Brother Srinivas, I call Narasimhamurti the Minister of Education and Srinivas the Minister of Health. When Srinivas started that hospital, it wasn't that Swami told him go and build a congenital heart. He researched, and Swami said, what is the need of the moment? And he said, there are 2 million children born in India every year with congenital heart disease. It's complicated. The age they get married, so many things. You know, education also has to be there. And so when I saw that, and I saw the selfless service, so many young people, they weren't training this. In fact, I was talking to an IT person who was actually in charge of the building, and 4 or 5 times apparently Swami had to save it from falling. But it was, everything was done from that point of pure love. And you could feel it, you could see it, and this is what Swami's about. It's not about a mental thing, it's really about feeling that enormity and the capacity of this love story that is unfolding in the world. I call it the Ganges of the world, the subtle Ganges of the world of love that permeates in the atmosphere from Swami's projects. And then I'll talk just a little bit about Annapurna project, because again it illustrates, like Gary told me this story. For 1 month, Swami would invite a nun for an interview, and he'd say, "Nun, have you had your breakfast this morning?" "Yes, Swami." "Has your wife had her breakfast this morning?" "Yes, Swami." "Did your child have their breakfast this morning?" "Yes, Swami." And this kept going on. And then he said, "There's a school there. Can you just tell me what their needs are?" And so he went there. He was playing in the playground, and he got the idea. He asked this little boy, "Did you have your breakfast today?" He said, "No." He said, "My parents had to leave to go to the field, and I had to catch the bus." And so then he went and he saw that 80% of the children there did not have breakfast that morning. And from that seed, Swami is now feeding 500,000 children every morning in India. But Swami is also the master planner. You know, because I thought, how do you go from 5,000 to 500,000? That's a big leap, isn't it? And so I happened to be at the teachers' conference, and a nun got up and he said, "Look, we have 120 schools here. Who would like to sign up for the Ananda program?" And 80% of them did. And so what does Swami do? Every month he sends a month's supply of food. He said, "Employ a cook, the teachers will serve the children," and that's how we're feeding them. See, what a wonderful, simple plan. We could not think of something so simple. So then I suppose the other story I want to share with you, because as I've been travelling with Swami and spending time with him, I suppose the thing that hits me the most is an aspect of Swami which has this all-knowing quality. So when we went to Sri Lanka, and there had been some land donated, it's in a place called Balaklo, and everyone was quite emotional. You know, the people have suffered here and this and that and one thing and another, and I was thinking, why is it that everyone is so emotional here? And then as Swami went past me, there were 2 little children on either side of me, and he looked at me and he said, "We are doing it for them." I said, "Yes, Swami. Of course we are all working for the children, aren't we?" But what I didn't know, and here is the all-knowing aspect of Swami, in that area there are 35,000 war widows. And these are all their children. And this is Swami's work. Wherever the need is most acute, wherever the love needs to be spread, Swami will be there. And that is what has touched me more than anything else. And You know, it's certainly a great privilege that I've had to be able to travel with Swami. I don't know that I really have deserved such a great boon, but what it's taught me is there is only one way to see, and that is through your heart. There is only one way to feel, and that is only through your heart. And there is only one way to listen, and that is through your heart. And if that becomes synchronized, you'll see the glory of God wherever you are. And it's so profound, and it's so changing. And then you have to address this thing where you think, okay, you know, I'm helping the children here and I'm helping there. No. It's all about your self-transformation. Because if you can be totally melted into that ocean of love, then how much service can you do? You will never tire. Swami never tired. In fact, you know, his problem is that we're trapped by these human bodies, so we can't move as fast as him. And then I suppose the other aspect was, when I was there in Sri Lanka, there was this wonderful little girl. She was speaking in Telugu, and it was, all I heard was Buddha, Allah, Jesus, da-da-da-da-da, like this. You know, Sri Lanka is a beautiful country where multi-faith is understood and practiced. Unfortunately, like every country, we have some people who have forgotten that. I lost my train of thought. Yes, so the little girl was talking about all the great masters, and she ended up by saying, of all the masters, Shukshma Baba is the best. She said, because look, he can come here. He's the only one who's been able to come here to Sri Lanka, although Rama was there. But in her eyes, as an 8-year-old, how she comprehended that. And so some people, again, they say, is it true? Is Swami sitting there on the chair? This you have to feel. But it is not, to me, such a... you are in communion with God anyway. You pray to God. God is formless. So already that relationship, you know that we have already... In fact, in the 1960s, Russia was photographing light auras. So this is not so difficult for a Western spiritual person. Light is definitely there. Swami is here in the light form. We are so blessed, you know, that Madhusudan, because of his selflessness, can do this work to see and communicate what Swami is saying to us. And I remember when Swami did leave his physical form, and that was the beginning of my relationship with Gary. And I remember they were all on the phone. There's going to be a resurrection. Watch this space. There was such an emergency, you know, definitely Sai Baba had a lot of pressure that he had to resurrect. And so people had this concept that maybe it was going to be like the stories of Jesus. But now when you see it, yes, we have had a resurrection in the light form. Same Swami is there. I won't talk because they only told me 5 minutes, so I can't talk anymore. You know, and you can go online. I can tell you much more about the heart of love and different things, but you're all very good at Googling. So please Google the Heart of Love Foundation. Some wonderful work will happen, is happening in Australia. Everyone can be part of it. You don't have to be a Sai devotee. It is people who want to serve humanity. There's also wonderful work happening in Health in Kind. Again, please Google it. These wonderful young people that are doctors and nurses. You know, I've actually coined them the liquid honey people, because they go into crevices because they're fluid. They have the sweetness. and they have the devotion. And so they can achieve so much. And, you know, the youth in Australia is strong. They can lead the way to do wonderful, wonderful service. And I think that's all I can say.
It is now with much pleasure that we invite our next speaker, Sri Narasimha Murthy, to talk with us this evening. Spearheading the education movement under the direct divine guidance of Swami. He is the Chancellor of the Sri Sathya Sai University for Human Excellence, providing free, values-based education to children. As of today, over 5,000 boys and girls are now benefiting from this system of education. In the last 7 years, 30 institutions and 19 campuses have come into existence across 14 districts of Karnataka and Telangana in South India. A further 4 campuses will also be inaugurated of June this year. May we please warmly invite him to talk with us this evening.
Offering our loving salutations at the lotus feet of our most beloved embodiment of love, our Divine Master, Bhagavan Sri Sathya Sai Baba. Most Venerable Ajahn Brahmji, very dear brothers and sisters and children. At the outset, I would like to compliment our young men and women sitting right in front of me who recited so melodiously songs and hymns in praise of great divine masters, and also the one great truth that all of them propounded. Let's give them a big hand. If we have such youth, there is future for Australia and future for the whole world. It is so very encouraging that in all the 33 countries which Bhagavan Baba has visited in the last 5-6 years in the subtle form, we could see such young boys and girls who are inspired by the highest ideals of human excellence. It was also very enlightening to listen to Venerable Ajahn Brahmji, who combined enlightenment with entertainment. It is very difficult to combine the two. Compliments to Sister Frances, who spoke with the heart of love. She is from the heart of love, and she spoke with her heart full of love for the Divine Master. Bhagavan just now told me to explain what is human excellence. Dear sister, introduced me as the Chancellor of Sri Sathya Sai University for Human Excellence. This University for Human Excellence is there because Bhagavan Sri Sathya Sai Baba is with us. Otherwise, this university could not have come into existence. Many people ask us, in fact, one friend who is the minister in one of our state governments, he was the one who introduced this act for establishment of Sri Sathya Sai University for Human Excellence in the Legislative Assembly and also Legislative Council in the state of Karnataka. And he brought the act which was passed and placed it at the lotus feet of Bhagavan Baba. And then he got up to speak, and this is what he said. I've heard about excellence in science, excellence in economics, excellence in commerce, excellence in engineering, excellence in medicine, but I do not know what is excellence, human excellence. That's what he said. Then Baba, later he spoke, and this is what he said. What is human excellence? He said, a boy or girl enters a university of engineering and technology. He or she comes out as an engineer. A boy or girl is admitted into a university of medicine. He will come out as a physician or a surgeon. He or she will come out as a physician or a surgeon. A boy or girl who joins the law university would come out as a lawyer. And a boy or girl who is admitted to Sri Sathya Sai University for Human Excellence, he or she will come out as God. That's what he said. Because human excellence is divinity. And what is this divinity actually? This divinity is nothing but absolute selflessness. Today we have schools and colleges which turn our boys and girls into engineers or doctors or lawyers or teachers or scientists or professors. But is there a university or a school which brings out good human beings? See, that is the question to be asked. In fact, a great jurist from India was a great devotee of Bhagavan Baba. He delivered the first convocation address of the first university founded by Baba at Puttaparthi Prashanthinilayam, Sri Sathya Sai Institute of Ireland. He said, the future of our world would be much brighter if we had half our intelligence and twice our goodness. This is what he said. Today, the problems of the world cannot be solved by intelligent people, by intellectuals, but today what is required is good human beings. To making boys and girls into good human beings, see, that is what the Sathya Sai University for Human Excellence stands for. In fact, Bhagavan Baba himself is the greatest ideal for all the youth of the world. He is a great inspiration for the youth of the world. Because every minute of his life he dedicated for the welfare of mankind. In fact, it was Lord Buddha who said, true religion is feeling for the welfare of all creatures, aspiring to grant joy and happiness to all creatures. This is what he said, and this is what exactly Baba did. And therefore, what this university is doing, also we had, before this university came into existence, we had the Center for Human Excellence under the auspices of another university. We already have 2 batches of our students who passed out from this Center for Human Excellence. And what is very gratifying to note is that all these boys who passed out of this Center for Human Excellence have dedicated themselves to the mission of service to humanity. All of them without exception. There were 13 boys in the first batch, about 15 boys in the second batch. All of them, under the guidance of Swami, under the command of Swami, they have joined back into our institutions and dedicated themselves completely for serving humanity. And therefore, it is a workable solution, a solution which will deliver results. And that is what is happening in this University for Human Excellence. And this human excellence is bringing out the best in the human beings, making them angels, in fact. Whoever serves, whoever helps is an angel in this world today. And that is what is the need of the hour. That is what can really solve the problems of the world today. We need men and women with selfless love for creatures, selfless love for fellow beings, and who are dedicated to serving them. Only such people can really give true light to society and also to the world. And that is the inspiration Baba has been giving. Wherever he goes, that is the inspiration he is transmitting and inspiring in the people, young and old. And this Heart of Love Foundation is the gift of Baba to Australia today. And this center is founded in very serene atmosphere in Muyulumba town near Brisbane. And it is a platform for goodness. All good and noble people who want to serve others can join this platform. And what is very important is that Bhagavan Sri Satya Sai Baba, though he gave up his body, he is still with us. He continues to be with us as per the promise that he had made. And most of the devotees of Baba know that he had declared to the world that he would continue in the form of Satya Sai for 96 years. But he gave up his physical form at the age of 85. But in the subtle form, he is still continuing. The great masters, divine masters, prophets, messiahs, they are only born, they will never die. They will continue with us forever, inspiring us. And that is the saving grace for mankind. And today Baba is here and he conveys his message through his wonderful instrument, Matsudan, who is sitting with us. He is not only a communicator, he is a vehicle for Bhagavan Sri Satya Sai Baba. One of the most brilliant students of the university founded by Baba at Prashantinilayam, and also an earnest spiritual seeker. Out of millions of devotees that Baba had all over the world, he chose him after he shed the mortal coil to communicate his message and also to take his mission forward. And those of you who have been following the galloping pace at which the mission is progressing, you would understand how effective Baba is even without the physical form. And he is here with us this evening. And all of us have gathered here with that kind of love for Bhagavan Sri Satya Sai Baba, our divinity that he represented. And we would like to definitely hear to him. On behalf of everybody gathered here, I pray to Bhagavan Sri Satya Sai Baba to convey his divine message. Thank you very much.
Om Shri Sai Ram. As we pray to Bhagavan, I perceive his presence here in the throne in a yellow golden robe, and I repeat as he speaks. Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Avashishyate. This is the opening stanza from a great Upanishad which describes the presence and the nature of God everywhere, Ishavasya Upanishad. And it means, this is Purnam, complete and perfect. That is also Purnam, complete and perfect. And if anything is removed from this complete and perfect, that is also complete and perfect. And if anything is added to this complete and perfect, that also is complete and perfect. So there is only this completeness, wholeness, and perfection that exists. Dear embodiments of Satchidanandam, truth, awareness, and bliss. The Vedas call upon us as Shunve Vishwa Amrutasya Putra. Listen, O children of immortality. The body dies, the mind changes, yet there is something that is immortal in all. And our Vedas, our Upanishads, our masters, seers, and sages, when they address us, they don't call us the body, which perishes with time. They don't call us the mind that changes with place, time, and situations. But they call us that immortal self that exists everywhere as completeness and perfection. We had a wonderful talk about perfection in imperfection by very revered Ajahn Brahmaji. Truly, there is nothing in this world that is not perfect. Everything is perfect as it is in the scheme of things, in the plan of God. Everything, everywhere is complete and perfect. It only needs a discerning eye to see that perfection in the otherwise seemingly imperfect things, people, and situations. Somebody was sleeping under a tree. A passerby, a traveler, tired, was resting under a tree by a farm of pumpkins. He looked at the tree and saw there was an apple growing on the tree. And then he looked around and saw there was a big pumpkin lying on the ground. And he thought to himself, what kind of God it is? What kind of creation is this? Such a small apple is hanging on such a strong branch of the tree, whereas such a big pumpkin is hanging by a small tendril. There is no logic in this creation. And even as he was pondering over this thought, the apple dropped on his head. And he said, I think the pumpkin is at the right place. Everything is at its right place, at the right time, and in the right situation. And that is the best that can be to help you grow and evolve from human to divine. But as I said, it's only an eye that is keen, that is observant, that is discerning, can find this perfection in otherwise seemingly imperfect world. And this perfection is not about the bodies being perfect. I'm tall, I'm handsome, I'm slim, I'm beautiful, I'm fair, I'm elegant. That is not the perfection that we are talking about. It's not even in the perfection of the thoughts or actions or intellect or emotions, but it is the perfection that is unchanging, that is permanent, that is eternal. It's called as Nirgunam, without any attributes, Niranjanam, always blissful, enchanted, Sanatanam, ever present, Niketanam, in everything it exists, Nitya, eternal, Shuddha, pure, Nitya, Shuddha, Buddha, Mukta. It's free, Buddha is aware, Mukta, it is free, Nirmala Swarupinam, without any impurities. That is the perfection that exists in all. And that perfection is known as divinity. And to see this divinity in otherwise the changing, the moving world is the effort, it is the essence of all sadhana. The one who sees this unity, this oneness, this perfection of divinity in everything is freed from all sorrows and all attachments. Tatra ko moha kashoka ekatvam anupashyata. Gita says, Bhagavad Gita says, where is sorrow? Where is attachment? Where is misery for the one who sees this unity in diversity? Who sees this completeness in otherwise apparently incomplete things? Who sees this perfection inherent in all that appears to be imperfect? And all the effort, as he talked about the human excellence, it is about growing from seeing diversity to seeing unity in all, in everything. We are all here from so many countries, so many religions, so many faiths and beliefs. We are of different ages, of different colors, of different ideas, different thoughts, different professions. There is so much of diversity right here in this very room. But yet there is one underlying, unifying thought which makes us all one. The thought that we are all divine. It is good enough. Tigert always says, I know that I am divine, not because I have experienced it still, but because my master says that I am divine. And that is good enough a reason for me to believe that I am divine despite my anger, despite my attachments, despite my desires. I still know that I am divine because my master said so. To believe in your master's word is all that you need to do. When he says you are the embodiment of Satchidananda, the truth, the awareness, bliss, then you ought to believe that. And every change begins with the seed of belief. When we start believing, we become that. Yad bhavam tad bhavati. As we think, as we feel, so we become. Sow a thought, reap an action. Sow an action, reap a tendency. Sow a tendency, reap a habit. Sow a habit, reap a character. And sow a character, reap your destiny. It all begins with thought. If we believe that we truly are divine, our words will transform into divine. Our ways will become divine. Actions will become divine. Our habits will become divine. Our character will become divine until one day we ourselves experience this divinity within and without. And that will be the end of all sorrows, all miseries. Gautam Buddha, the great enlightened master, used to say, the reason for all the misery in this world is desires. Is it possible to give up all the desires? I have to eat food. Is it a desire? Yes, it is. I must eat food. I want to eat food. I must wear clothes. Good clothes, not dirty, not shabby, but good clothes. Is it a desire? It is a desire of some kind. I must have a family. It is a desire. I must have a job. I must have some earnings. I must have some place in the society, a little respect. All these are desires. Then how do we get rid of desires while in this world? Should we abandon the world and run away to the forests? Then what will happen to the world? The truth is, detachment is in the mind, not in the body. Running away is not the solution. Standing, facing it, and conquering it is the solution. In today's world, we need people whose hands are in the society and heads are in the forest, who are here to serve the society with all their body, mind, and soul, at the same time remain absolutely detached from everything. And this detachment alone can lead to this vision of oneness. And that detachment comes through selfless service. When we see somebody more miserable than us, then we say to ourselves, oh, God has given us more than enough. Do I need to have some more desires? Let me reduce them. When I am more educated than the others, I thank parents, teachers, society, God. I express my gratitude. And then I don't develop more desires because I see somebody else whose need is far greater than ours. So when you do go to serve those who are less privileged, those who are less fortunate, your desires reduce. Till one day you reach a point where you say, I have enough and more. I don't need more than this. I don't expect, I don't ask for anything more from God. I just want God for God's sake, for God's love's sake. I don't ask God like a beggar standing outside the temple. And so rich man came out of the temple. And there were beggars in India. Many temples are a refuge to many poor and needy. So there was some beggar sitting outside. He was saying, do some charity, you will get some merits. The rich man turned around and said, why don't you do something other than begging outside the temple? He said, sir, I am begging outside the temple. You are begging inside the temple. We both are beggars at the end. I know God doesn't want beggars. He wants beggars. Big in their heart, big in their ways, whose heart melts at the plight and misery of others. They are really people of God. And when we go to temple, we don't go to ask for more. We go to tell God, thank you for already what you have given us more than what I need, what I deserve. Thank you for that. And let me have the heart to share and serve those who have less than me. May I be of service and use to another fellow human, anyone, a creature, so that I can please you. I read the card given by the youth, and they have not written anything in that other than that. Swami, please help us please you. People say, please Swami, for many things, to draw my attention. I also turn around and say, please Swami, please Swami. You please Swami, and Swami will see to that you are always pleased, you are always happy. And how do you please Swami? By helping others, by serving others. It's written here, love all, serve all. All means all. Many people say, I can love all except this man or except that woman because she is impossible, he is impossible. Then you are not all. Then it says love all, it means love all. When it says serve all, it means serve all. He said love can transform people. A prisoner, a criminal, so to say, who have been imprisoned, he can come and tell, you have given us love. And so it's our time to reciprocate it, our time to show it to you. When a hard-hearted, so-called, a cruel human can think like that, what about simple children? Everybody has this goodness within. Everybody has this goodness. Some seeds of goodness found the right soil. They found the protection, nourishment, and they grew into trees of goodness, fruits of goodness, shade of goodness. And some seeds, unfortunately, fell on hard soil, fell on sandy soil. They did not find the right environment, right protection, right nourishment, and they could not grow into these trees. But the seeds are nevertheless there. So many of these children, I met the Minavara Community Hall people today. They are all here and we are so happy to see you. I was telling, no child is bad. Every child is born in the image of God. However, the circumstances make them what they become. A raindrop that comes from the skies, it's pure. You can drink it as it is. But if it touches the soil or falls into a dirty place, it becomes dirty too. It's not the fault of the raindrop, it is the fault of the association with which it becomes what it becomes. Like that every child born is pure. It's in the image of God. But the association, the parents, the teachers, the societies that they fall into, that changes them. A raindrop that falls in the river Ganges, as you mentioned, becomes sacred. People are ready to take bath. People are ready to use it for worship. They will drink from it. The same raindrop falls into a drain. It becomes so dirty that nobody is willing to wash even their feet with it. The child is not child's fault. Having born in a family, in circumstances where there is no way that the child can grow into an immortal divine being, it's not the fault of the child. So it's my desire. I have come here not just to discuss spirituality. We have had enough discussions in the past. We have here to act spirituality. Speaking spirituality is over long ago. Now it's the time to act spirituality. Love without action, service or action is useless. And action without love is dangerous, harmful. So it's time for love with service, service with love. Both are two sides of the same coin, and no coin is valid unless both the sides are correctly printed. It's invalid, it's counterfeit otherwise. Likewise, this life is a coin. Its value comes when both the sides are in place. Love on one side and service on the other side. And when these two sides are together, your life gets its due value. So here in Australia, everywhere in the world, wherever we go, this is the only message. Everybody has different capacities. What a spoon can do, a fork cannot. What a fork does, a knife cannot. What knife does, needle cannot. Everyone has been given some talent, some skill, some understanding, knowledge, abilities by God. And they are perfect as they are. If that criminal was in the prison, that was the perfect place for him to be. The thing that he did was the perfect thing that he did in his life, because that is what will take him to God at the end. Likewise, you are a teacher, you are perfect being a teacher. Use your teaching to help 10 people. You are a doctor, perfect. Use your skills to uplift, to heal, to cure 10 others. You are a lawyer, very good. Fight for the justice of those who have not got it. You are a government officer, very well. You are perfect where you are. Try to do your duty with honesty, integrity, and with the spirit of serving the nation. You are a businessman. I don't know whether they're perfect or not. These businessmen are always tricky, you see. But yet, you have always ways to give back more than what you receive. Your currency may change. Your transaction may be of different nature, but when you give, you always get more in spirituality. I always say, you are a businessman, Gary, I'm also a businessman. You deal in money, I deal in love. And you sometimes make losses, sometimes profit, but I always make profits in my business. The amount of love we give, we always receive more than that love. That is the way love is. It's infinite, it multiplies. You give a little love, you get much, much more back. So that is the business that we are in. Anything that you're doing, you're a singer, sing songs in the praise of God, sing songs that inspire others, sing songs that teach wisdom. You are doing your service. Anything, anybody, anywhere can do service. Can show this love as service. Otherwise, this love is very, very difficult to understand. When you serve, it becomes easy to understand. If love is the theory, service is the practical. When you do it selflessly, you truly understand what God must be like. You get a taste, a glimpse, a little vision, a peep into God's heart when you serve selflessly. And it is so redeeming that never again you want to go back to your old ways. Having tasted the love of God in the love of people, you don't want to go back and taste again the worldly love which is full of expectations and desires. So be that. And that is what is important. In today's age and time, there is plenty in the world. At the same time, there is so much of poverty, deprivation. It's because a few people hoard everything and don't share with others. They don't share the wealth, they don't share their opportunities, they don't share their privileges. And that is the reason why the world looks so divided as it is today. It's a paradoxical time that we live in, where on one side we have so much, and on the other side we have nothing. To bridge this gap with the bridge of love and service is our mission. Spirituality is just, in one word, it is love, and that love, to understand it, it is service. And when we do this, we become purer and purer, as Francis put it. More than the benefit the children receive, we are the ones who are really benefiting from this service, because we become better, we become purer, and that is our gain in this process. And we always gain more than the others. What service you do to others is not as important as what the service does to you. If you become more selfless, your service has been worth it. And this service doesn't make you feel tired, as you said it right. It is effortless. When you do it with your heart, it is effortless. You never feel the strain. You never feel tired. In fact, you are always looking forward to doing more. And you feel sad, oh, the day has ended and I must go back. I can't serve anymore today. That is how I feel. Every day begins, I'm happy. Oh, I'm going to meet more people and do more for them. Every time there is a nightfall and I think, oh, I have to stop this today and I have to only do it tomorrow. It is so redeeming. And one has to experience this. Jato vacho nivartante. It cannot be described in words. Aprapya manasas. It cannot be understood by mind. It is only through the heart that we understand what love is, what service is. To a blind man, how can you describe colors? Somebody who has never tasted the sweet, in what way can you explain what sweet is like? He has to put it on his tongue and understand what sweetness is. You can explain it's not salty, it's not bitter, it's not spicy. But how can you tell it is sweet? Only by experiencing. Experiencing is very important. So here onwards, as I said in other places, I am saying it here too. Everyone, anywhere you are, whatever your professions are, whatever your background, abilities or skills, put it to use in the service of others. Yes, you have to look after yourself, your jobs, your professions, do that. But don't do only that. Find time to do a little more good every single day. And I said a very simple thing. One selfless act a day keeps your ego away. One selfless act. If you do selfish act, it's going to grow your ego. It's going to fuel the fire of ego in you. But one selfless act. Doing service to your husband, wife or children, that's duty with love. There is love. There is first thing, there is duty without love. That's deplorable. You should shun it. And there is duty with love. That is desirable. Do it. But then there is something called love without duty. And that is what makes us divine. It's not about the obligations that we have to fulfill, the expectations that we must meet. It's not about discharging our duties. It's good, we must do it as a part of the society. We must put our contribution there. We must do our bit. But more importantly, it is about doing where we are not expected to do. When it is not demanded of us. When it is not an obligation. But we do it because we feel joyful. We feel happy. And that is where we touch God. When we do service which is selfless. So you chant all these chants, very good. I am Shiva, I am Shiva, I am Shiva. But by repeating it like a parrot, you're not going to attain it. Isn't it? A lot of people put bhajans, chants on the tape, the CDs as they say. It keeps on playing that 24 hours. Does it get nirvana? It is only when we practice that we understand it. If you practice this, one is thinking, constantly thinking good is good. Thought is the beginning, as I said. But thought alone cannot take you there. Thought translated into words, translated into actions, translated into a habit, that becomes your character and ultimately takes you where you ought to go. So all I'm expecting from Australia is that you all will engage to begin with one selfless act a day. And when we come back next year, we must see everybody a little better than what they are today. We must have progress spiritually, not just financially, not just family-wise, not just in our age and size, but we must progress spiritually. We must become better humans. And how do we know this? Whether we have better humans? If you become more wealthy, your banks will tell you. If you become more beautiful, your beloved people will tell you. If you become richer, the world will know. But if you become more spiritual, how do we know? You will know it from within. You will be happier. You'll be pleasant to everyone. You'll be kinder. You'll be more compassionate. And that is how you know that you have become better. And you are the one who has to understand for yourself. How much hunger you have, you alone know. The neighbor won't know. Likewise, how much love you have, you alone know. And how much you have improved, you alone will be able to measure it. So do that, And if you do that, I think all this effort of coming to Australia, traveling from city to city, meeting people, talking, would have found its fulfillment. He said, a guru, there's no way you can express gratitude to Guru, not by singing his praises, not by giving speeches on his life and works, not even by discussing or proclaiming his teachings anywhere, but by practicing it, by sharing it, by internalizing it. That is when you express the gratitude to your Guru. And that is exactly what you can do. Share this love, serve everyone. And to give you a tip, begin with the person whom you think you hate the most. And if you can love them and serve them, take it for sure you can love and serve anywhere, anybody. We will close because we have a flight to catch, I think, in the night. We will see you again next year as better human beings. Satsang.
जय जगदीश हरे स्वामी सत्य साई हरे भक्त जना संरक्षक भक्त जना संरक्षक पति महेश्वर ओम जय जगदीश हरे शशिवदना श्रीकरा सर्व प्राणपते स्वामी सर्व प्राणपते आश्रित कल्पलतिका आश्रित कल्पलतिका आपद्बान्धवा ओम जय जगदीश हरे माता पिता गुरुदेवमु मरियन्तयु नीवे स्वामी मरियन्तयु नीवे नाद ब्रह्म जगन्नाथ नाद ब्रह्म जगन्नाथ नागेन्द्राशयन ॐ जय जगदीश हरे ओंकार रूप ओजस्वी साई महादेवा सत्य साई महादेवा मंगल आरती अंदुको मंगल आरती अंदुको मंगल गिरिधारी ओम जय जगदीश हरे नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण 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 ओम नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम जय सद्गुरुदेवा नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण 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 ओम नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम जय सद्गुरुदेवा सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण 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 ओम नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम जय सद्गुरुदेवा समस्त लोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः जय बोलो भगवान श्री सत्य साई बाबा जी की जय।